Health and Education Ministries among those with biggest allocations in Budget 2024. Bomb explodes near Turkey Parliament in terrorist attack. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Lee and you're watching Malaysia Tonight. The Health Ministry or MOH and the Education Ministry will continue to get the biggest allocations under the Madani Budget 2024 to be tabled on the 13th of October. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who will be presenting the second Madani budget as Finance Minister, said among the matters to be focused in the MOH budget are the building of health clinics and solving the problem of congestion in government hospitals throughout the country.
Isu kesihatan terutama klinik-klinik ini diberi keutamaan termasuk rumah sakit. Kita lihat umpamanya bila saya pergi ke hospital Tengku Aminah, dia sesaknya tu luar biasa. Dan kebanyakan hospital kita sesak. Jadi ada orang kritik kita. Oh, dia kata sejak kita jadi kerajaan Anwar jadi Perdana Menteri, hospital sesak. Hospital sesak dah bertahun-tahun dah. Tetapi oleh kerana tindakan itu agak tidak pantas dan peruntukan tidak cukup, maka sampailah masalah yang begitu rumit ada sekarang.
The Premier also said a subsidy rationalisation was necessary to ensure that government subsidies benefited groups which truly needed help. He said this included treatment charges at government hospitals. On the Madani medical scheme, he said it was an important initiative under the Malaysia Madani policy to provide equitable access to quality health service for the B40 group. Datuk Seri Anwar also conveyed his greetings to the local pharmaceutical fraternity in conjunction with World Pharmacists Day, which was celebrated on the 25th of September. He also praised Perak for implementing various initiatives to improve the dissemination of health information to the people, including the state-level Malaysia Health Month program. On another note, Datuk Seri Anwar has stressed that the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission or MACC must be free from executive influence. In a Facebook post today, he said MACC should also stand firm on the principle of not only rejecting corruption but also intensifying efforts to combat the menace. The Premier noted that the country or desired system cannot be developed without efforts to reject and bury the culture of corruption at all levels of society. He further expressed confidence of the ability of MACC to fulfill this noble ambition for the sake of the people and the country. Datuk Seri Anwar also congratulated MACC on the occasion of its 56th anniversary today. There have been no reports on local white rice repackaging activity, which causes local rice supply shortages, as claimed by an opposition member of parliament. Deputy Agriculture and Food Security Minister Chan Fung Hin said the ministry, together with the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, had conducted hundreds of operations and no such cases were detected so far.
So far kita tidak mendapati sebarang kesalahan di mana berlakunya kes tukar kambing. Okay? Selepas beberapa ratus operasi kita jalankan, bukan saja operasi dijalankan oleh KPKM, juga operasi bersepadu yang dijalankan bersama KPDN. So sampai sekarang memang tak ada bukti yang kukuh lah.
He further said this issue should not continue to be used as political tools. On a related note, Chan said the local white rice supply has stabilized compared to last week due to less panic buying from businesses and consumers. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilal Shah has consented to host a state visit by the Governor-General of New Zealand, Dame Cindy Kiro, from today until the 4th of October. Malaysian Foreign Ministry in a statement said this will be Kiro's first visit to Malaysia and the Southeast Asia region after assuming the post of Governor-General on the 21st of October 2021. The last state visit by a Governor-General of New Zealand was undertaken by Dame Patsy Reddy was in 2017. The ministry added the visit underscores the importance of existing bilateral ties and multifaceted cooperation, which were officially elevated to strategic partnership in May 2023. According to the ministry, highlights of the visit include a state welcoming ceremony at Istana Negara, an audience with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, and a state banquet in honour of Hero. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim is also scheduled to call on the Governor-General. The Hero will be accompanied by her spouse, Dr. Richard Davis, and senior officials from New Zealand's Government House. New Zealand remains Malaysia's second largest trading partner in the Pacific region. The total trade from January to June 2023 was valued at 6.32 billion ringgit, an increase from 5.48 billion ringgit for the same period in 2022. Coming up in our foreign segment, at least 7 people killed in nightclub fire in Spain. 2 terrorists carried out a bomb attack in front of Turkey's Interior Ministry building in the Turkish capital Ankara ahead of the opening day of Parliament early today. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya said in a statement that 2 police officers suffered non-life-threatening injuries in the attack. According to Yerlikaya, the attackers arrived in a light commercial vehicle in front of the building's entrance at about 9:30 a.m. local time. Yerlikaya said one assailant blew himself up and the other was neutralized. What appeared to be a guard tower in front of the entrance to the building was slightly damaged in the blast. Police have since cordoned off the area, and video from the scene appeared to show a bomb squad searching the area for other suspicious package. A bomb found on the body of the neutralized terrorist was set off after the attack in a controlled explosion, one of at least 2 that could have been heard on television footage. Justice Minister Yilmaz Tunku said that an investigation has been launched into the incident. The bombing took place just hours before lawmakers are set to return to work after the summer break at 2 p.m. Now, no group had claimed responsibility as of Sunday morning. At least 7 people were killed in a fire in a Spanish nightclub on Sunday morning, authorities said, with 4 more reported injured. Emergency services said in a statement on social media that rescuers had managed to enter the building after first being alerted at 6 a.m. local time that a fire had broken out in the nightclub. They finally managed to enter around 10 a.m. local time and discovered 4 bodies, then 2 others around 40 minutes later. An hour later, the Murcia town hall confirmed the toll had risen to 7. According to photos released by emergency services, the fire broke out in the theatre nightclub, also called Fonda Milagros. The photos showed water hoses from fire trucks still spraying the blackened facade of the club. Thick smoke could be seen billowing from the roof of the building. The city's town hall said it deeply regrets the accident and offering condolences to those affected. 4 others were injured, 2 women aged 22 and 25 years old and 2 men in their 40s, all suffering with smoke inhalation. The mayor of Murcia, Jose Ballesta, announced 3 days of mourning. He said more than 40 firefighters and 12 emergency vehicles were attending at the scene. Afghanistan's embassy in India suspended operations today, more than 2 years after the Taliban's return to power in Kabul following the collapse of the Western-backed government. Most foreign nations, including India, do not officially recognize Afghanistan's Taliban government, but acknowledge them as a de facto ruling authority. This has left many Afghan embassies and consulates in limbo, with diplomats appointed by the former government refusing to cede control of embassy buildings and property to representatives chosen by the Taliban authorities. An embassy statement said India will take control of the embassy in a caretaker capacity. The statement also said that it had been increasingly challenging to continue operations due to cuts in staff and resources, including a lack of timely and sufficient support from visa renewal for diplomats. The The closure follows reports that the ambassador and other senior diplomats had left India in recent months, with infighting among those remaining in New Delhi. But the embassy said in a statement that it categorically refutes any baseless claims regarding internal strife among staff and denied any diplomats were using the crisis to seek asylum in a third country. US President Joe Biden signed a short-term spending bill late Saturday to keep the government open for the immediate future ahead of a critical midnight deadline when funding for federal agencies was set to run out. Now, Biden wrote on X that he just signed a law to keep the government open for 47 days, which provided plenty of time to pass government funding bills for the next fiscal year. The move came after the US Senate signed off on the bill earlier Saturday evening and sent the measure to Biden's desk to be signed into law. The 88-9 vote saw broad bipartisan support, with the exception of vocal Republican critics who have demanded further spending cuts. The House of Representatives previously approved the measure to fund the federal government for an additional 45 days by a veto of 335 to 91. It gives legislators additional time to work out a longer-term spending deal to fund the government. The stopgap bill keeps the federal government funded at the same level as the 2023 fiscal year. A federal government shutdown would have meant that many of the federal government's 4 million workers would have been furloughed or forced to remain home without a paycheck, while others deemed essential would have had to work without pay. Up in sports, Berita and Wendy retained silver in 3-meter springboard synchro event. The national women's hockey squad made amends for their loss to India on Friday by thrashing Singapore 8-1 in their third Group A match of the 2022 Hangzhou Asian Games at Gongju Canal Sports Park Stadium today. The Malaysian Tigers, coached by Muhammad Nasihin Nubli Ibrahim, drew first blood in the 9th minute through a penalty corner hit by Wan Nur Faiza Muhammad Sayuti. Malaysia doubled their lead 6 minutes later through Siti Nur Arfa Muhammad Nur's penalty corner conversion before Nuraini Abdul Rashid put them 3 up with another penalty corner strike in the 29th minute. Malaysia scored again in the third quarter through Nur Maizatul Hanim Shafi in the 31st minute before Singapore reduced the deficit 4 minutes later through a field goal by Sardona Ng Yusin. However, Malaysia continued their rampage when Nur Afika Shazani Azhar netted a field goal in the 37th minute before Khairunisa Muhammad Sharduddin scored their 6th goal from penalty corner shot in the 48th minute. Hanis Nadia On also scored for Malaysia in the 54th and 59th minutes to deepen Singapore's misery. Muhammad Nasihin said the victory would serve as a tonic for the team in their last group match against South Korea on Tuesday. The National Diving Camp bags another silver when the combination of Nur Dabita Sabri and Wendy Ng emerged runners-up in the women's 3-meter springboard synchronized today. Now, the achievement by Nur Dabita and Wendy saw them successfully defend the silver won in the 2018 edition in Jakarta, Palembang, Indonesia. Had to settle for bronze by collecting 253.56 points. This is also the third medal contributed by the National Diving Camp at this Games and Nur Dabita's second personal medal after winning bronze when paired with Datuk Pandalina Renong in the women's 10-meter synchronized platform event yesterday. Now, the Malaysian contingent to the Asian Games is confident of achieving the target of 27 medals in Hangzhou, with 8 days of competition remaining before the closing ceremony on the 8th of October. Now, the confidence was expressed by Chef de Mission, Dato' Chong Kim Fat, after witnessing the fighting spirit of the Malaysian athletes who have won 19 medals as of this evening. He said Malaysia will continue the medal hunt in singles and doubles events for squash and badminton, besides archery, karate, hockey, sports, athletics, sepak takraw, equestrian and diving.
sukan yang akan dimain lepas hari ini memang berpotensial. Macam besok ada squash lagi, pay and also single, dan juga banyak game akan masuk yang baru sampai. I think kita memang boleh mencapaikan kita punya sasaran.
As of 2:30 this afternoon, Malaysia is ranked 13th in the medal tally table after winning 3 golds, 3 silvers and 12 bronzes. Coming up in our business segment, progressive wage system elevates employees' productivity. The Malaysia Anti-Corruption Commission, or MACC, will focus its efforts on improving the country's economy by reducing leakages and recovering the nation's wealth. Its Chief Commissioner, Tan Sri Azam Baki, said MACC had adopted a modern and professional approach to combating corruption and reducing leakages, thus recovering government assets and funds. According to him, the Commission had devised a technique for investigating high-profile cases involving people in positions or high-ranking individuals using intelligence-based investigations or IBI methods. It is used in cases where deep analysis of the subjects is conducted prior to proper investigations and uncover grand corruption. He added that MACC also conducted investigations using the Management Team-Based Investigation or MTI method to produce a more transparent and quality investigation paper. He said that these methods were used while taking into account the importance and urgency of a case, particularly when it involved organized criminal activities. On MACC's accomplishments in 2022, Azam said a total of 820 investigation papers involving corruption and abuse of power were opened, with 766 or 93.41% of the cases being resolved within the year. The progressive wage model in private sector will provide more opportunities for skilled workers to receive appropriate wages suitable with their qualifications and skills. Human Resource Minister V. Sivakumar said the National Economic Action Council, on principle, had agreed for the implementation of progressive wage model in the sector.
So untuk memenuhi hasrat atau keperluan daripada kedua-dua pihak, iaitu majikan dan juga pekerja, maka satu daripada model yang boleh kita pilih ialah model gaji progresif. Di bawah model gaji progresif ini, memang perkara-perkara yang telah saya sebut tadi itu akan diambil kira untuk menentukan gaji yang setimpal diterima oleh pekerja-pekerja yang berkemahiran, yang mempunyai produktiviti, dan begitu juga peluang untuk majikan untuk meningkatkan keuntungan mereka.
He said this to the media after attending an engagement session with manufacturing industry stakeholders in Praia. The progressive wage model is expected to be enforced in private sector within April or May next year. The Hong Leong Bank and Hong Leong Islamic Bank will continue to waive transaction fees for business accepting payments through Do It Now QR. Now, through a statement, the bank said this is part of their commitment to encourage digital and cashless payments. The waiver encapsulates Do It Now QR transactions using current and saving accounts, e-wallet and credit cards. Apart from that, Hong Leong Bank will not also impose any service maintenance fee, point of sales material, and API or interface integration. The bank said it is confident this will encourage more businesses to adopt digital payment solutions, ultimately fostering a more resilient and competitive business landscape. It added that by empowering businesses with cost-effective payment solutions, which not only helping them to remain competitive, but also contributing to the economic growth of Malaysia. Tourism-related associations have expressed hope that the government will increase the Sales and Services Tax or SST annual threshold for the hospitality industry from 500,000 ringgit to 1.5 million ringgit through Budget 2024. Malaysian Budget and Business Hotel Association, or MACC President Dr. Sri Ganesh said this was necessary to ensure the sustainability of budget hotel operators affected by competition from unlicensed accommodation providers. He said with SST, if the room rate is higher, then the tax that customers have to pay also increases. Dr. Sri Ganesh said if the threshold value is raised to 1.5 million, customers, especially those in the B40 group, can enjoy affordable room rates without feeling burdened by the SST tax imposed by licensed hotel operators. The Malaysia Tourism Federation, or MTF Secretary General, also hoped that the government would immediately enforce the short-term residential accommodation, or STRA, guidelines to ensure the sustainability of the hotel industry. According to him, the government has lost tax revenue due to unlicensed businesses where the parties involved are not bound by legal regulations to pay taxes such as SST, tourism tax, and the set tourism or hotel fees. Now, the ringgit is expected to maintain its current range of 4.68 to 4.69 against the US dollar next week. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist and Social Finance Head Muhammad Afzanizam Abdul Rashid said the markets will continue to assess the incoming data points next week. Commenting further on the matter, he said concerned over the highly restrictive U.S. monetary policy stance would also persistently dictate market sentiment. Now, based on consensus estimates, the NFP is anticipated to decline to 150,000 in September from August 187,000. Meanwhile, SPI Asset Management Managing Director Stephen Innes opined that the ringgit may start to rally towards 4 ringgit and 60 cents against the US dollar, depending on whether the global growth balance is achieved via a slower US economy or improvements in the rest of the world. On a Friday-to-Friday basis, the ringgit weakened against the US dollar from a week earlier. Meanwhile, the local unit traded mixed against other major currencies. It rose versus the euro too and was higher vis-a-vis the Japanese yen previously, but depreciated against the British pound the previous Friday. Now, the ringgit also traded mixed against its ASEAN peers. Now, the crude palm oil or CPO futures contract on Bursa Malaysia derivatives is expected to trade with a slight upward bias next week due to the recent strength in the crude oil market. Palm oil trader David Ng recently said the benchmark Brent crude was trading higher last week and moved from $93 per barrel to about $96 per barrel on the 29th of September. Ng said the stronger export performance numbers would also likely support the CPO market. Now, for the week just ended, CPO futures were traded mixed, tracking the soybean oil futures market movement on the Chicago Board of Trade and crude oil prices. On a weekly basis, the October 2023 contract rose 42 ringgit to 3,689 per ton. November 2023 added 73 ringgit to 3,732 per ton. And December 2023 improved 86 ringgit to 3,767 ringgit per ton. January 2024 increased 83 ringgit to 3,798 per ton. February 2024 was 84 ringgit higher at 3,825 per ton, and March 2024 gained 76 ringgit to 3,842 per ton. Total weekly volume decreased to 264,271 lots from 326,641 lots in the preceding week, while open interest strengthened to 221,984 contracts from 214,965 contracts previously. The fiscal CPO price for October South added 20 ringgit to 3,720 ringgit per ton from 3,700 per ton in the previous week. Meanwhile, the Malaysian rubber market is expected to remain steady next week with an upward bias. Malaysian Rubber Glove Manufacturers Association, or MACC, past president Dennis Loh said incessant rainfall in rubber-producing regions would help push up the rubber prices and demand. Elaborating further on the matter, Low said that the low-pressure area over the central part of the South China Sea has intensified into a tropical depression. He said with heavy rains from the tropical depression hitting northern and north-central Vietnam, this would cause flooding and spark warnings of landslides. Low further noted that this would later move across Thailand along the storm through, as the Thai Meteorological Department had issued a storm warning with torrential rain predicted across 41 provinces. On a weekly basis, the Malaysian Rubber Boards or MRB reference price for standard Malaysian Rubber 20 or SMR 20 eased 0.45% lower or 3 cent to 654.50 cent per kilogram from last week's 657.5 cent per kilogram. Latex in bulk added 2.58% or 12.5 cent to 497.5 cent per kilogram from 485 cent per kilogram previously. On Friday, the MRB reference price for physical rubber SMR 20 stood at 652 cent per kilogram, while latex in bulk was 498 cent per kilogram. And that's it for Malaysia Tonight. Let's recap our top story. Health and Education Ministries among those with biggest allocations in Budget 2024. We leave you with visuals of preparations for the 2023 Toy Fair at the New York Javits Center, which is slated to run until Tuesday. Now, over 1,000 exhibitors participated in the 4-day Toy Fair, which features hot items including dolls inspired by Barbie Mania, plush toys, kid-adult toys and games, fan collectibles, and toys that play into popular themes. I'm Jessica Lee. Thank you for watching Malaysia Madani, dekat perpaduan penuhi harapan.